Hey guys, I'm back for another video, and today I'm going to talk about Hytale again. And today's topic was actually suggested to me from the awesome people over at Twitter. So let's get started. So something that the gaming community can't seem to avoid is scammers and people that try to benefit off of the success of an awesome game and partially ruin things for everybody else by stealing account information, cracking the game, playing it free when it's supposed to be paid, selling off other people's accounts so that they could hack on those stolen accounts. There's all sorts of stuff that, for example, has happened in the Minecraft community that I would like to address before Hytale releases, and hopefully be able to give my advice to the staff and the community as a whole as to how to prevent these sort of things upon Hytale's launch. Before I start, I'm actually going to tell a few personal stories of mine about how I got scammed. I actually fell victim to a scammer only a few months ago on Discord. So what happened was, I was DM'd by somebody. They asked me if I would like to buy a cape from them, a Minecon cape. And me being the player since 2010, I've always wanted a cape, but I've never been to any sort of conventions before, never been to Minecon, never been to E3 or PAX, and I really wanted a cape because, you know, it only makes sense as a YouTuber that, like, his whole life basically freaking revolves around this game, so it makes sense if I had a cape. So I was like, yes, I would like a cape. And then he said, okay, pay me 30 bucks and I'll give you a link. And of course I had a hard time trusting him, but at the time I just finished the stream and I had gotten some money. So I was like, you know what, I'd like to risk it, because if this guy actually has a cape, that'd be pretty freaking neat. So I give the guy 30 bucks on PayPal, and he sends me a link that supposedly redeems a cape, and you probably already know where this is going. I tried to then use the link, and it did not work. I contacted Mojang support, and they basically said that I shouldn't be trusting links from people, and that the code had already been redeemed. So, 30 bucks down the drain for no Minecon cape, so sad ThirtyVirus has no Minecon cape still to this day. So, rip. The second time I was trolled in the money department was I was live streaming even more recently, and in the middle of the live stream I started getting messages from viewers of the stream saying, hey ThirtyVirus, your cape is not appropriate, you could get banned for that. And I was like, my cape? And I just figured it was trolling and kept going. And then somebody in my game said, you're gonna get banned. And I was like, why? And then they said, because your cape is inappropriate. And I'm like, I don't have a cape. So it turns out, in the middle of the stream, some troll bought me an Optifine cape with a ding-dong on it. I wasn't even mad. Honestly, it was hilarious. Just the fact that somebody spent 10 bucks to try to get me banned off of Hypixel, and joke's on them because I turned the cape off immediately using the Optifine setting. So I have Optifine, so I was able to actually see it upon relogging. Finished the stream, and then afterwards I turned it into my own custom cape, which is, you know, not really the best looking thing, but it, you know, it's a free cape, why not? So that was pretty good. But anyway, yeah, so that's something that happens. Something that happens pretty often as well is that people will buy things for a YouTuber and then charge back the purchase, getting the YouTuber banned. That's happened plenty of times. And one final story of mine is the story of how Anthony lost all of his Rocket League items. Yeah, so this one's short. He joined a website that was all about trading, and then turns out they have a Steam group. And then he clicked on the link in the Steam group, it brought him to a website, told him to sign in so he could, you know, tell everybody what he's got so he can trade with people. And it made him sign into Steam when it wasn't on Steam, so then they got his login info, and then he fell asleep, woke up the next morning, and his entire Rocket League inventory was gone. So there are people that are willing to do all sorts of unsavory crap to either get people in trouble, or steal their stuff, steal their money, and as funny as it is to talk about it after the fact, it sucks. Anthony spent probably over $100 on his Rocket League inventory. I spent 30 bucks trying to get a cape, And I almost got banned off of Hypixel because someone spent 10 bucks to put a ding dong on my back. So how the heck are we supposed to defend ourselves from this? Well, a lot of the responsibility does fall on the game developers. There needs to be a way for these sort of purchases, like a cape, like an inventory of items that you've collected. There needs to be a way to protect these things. There needs to be backups in place just in case these things are stolen. Oh, and a final thing that I didn't even mention is that, like, everybody knows about those Xbox Live code generators that are online, and they give people viruses and whatnot because it makes people think they can get free Xbox Live codes for just downloading a thing and clicking a button, but all it does is actually install malware on their system. You know, that classic crap, the stuff that actually kind of got me interested in repairing computers, because like every other day I'd be reinstalling Windows. Back in like 7th grade, I was trying to get myself free Xbox Live because my mom wouldn't give it to me at the time. So it's just like, you know. So how can the developers fix these things? Well, for one thing, verifying an account is super duper important. Whether it be through a Twitter account, maybe a Discord account, a Google account would be great. Having a verified email address, phone number, but of course it would have to be uncrackable. You can't be, you know, leaving it open for that information to get stolen too, because that just makes the problem worse. But the point is, you should be able to verify an account somehow to prevent people from, spamming accounts if the game's free, or even if it is paid, preventing them from doing, like, sketchy things. For example, trying to convince someone that you have a Minecon cape, but then if you look at their profile and they're not verified on anything, it's like, Because then if they are verified, you can actually, like, get them in trouble if they act up. So if, like, some dude were to, you know, verify his account on Twitter and then scam me out of 30 bucks for a Minecon cape, I could get his account banned. I could get him in trouble with the developers of the game, like with the, you know, Human Resources Department, HR, whatever. But when an account is unverified and it's like a throwaway account, then it's just like, you can't do anything. They're completely anonymous. They probably have a VPN. If you try to track their IP, they're probably in freaking Zimbabwe or something when they're actually somewhere in like the US or Canada. And there's just no way to get to them. And they can just get away with this crap. But if you were to verify all accounts in Hytale on the website, in the game, then people could be held accountable for their actions and be more verifiable. There also needs to be an aggressive way to shut down, like, hacking forums, videos on YouTube about hacking. I don't know if anybody remembers the situation with Xturtle, how he, like, got banned off of YouTube and, like, basically was, like, threatened with, like, I think Hypixel literally, like, threatened him legally that, like, if he doesn't take down his videos, they will take him to court, which I think is badass. Good on you, Hypixel. Freaking you go, guys. So, if that was the case, I do think aggressive actions like that need to be taken. If you guys don't know who Xturtle was, he was basically a YouTuber who promoted cheats and hacking and clients and made a whole, you know, entertaining thing out of it. I mean, I no doubt would have probably enjoyed watching that content, but the problem is that it promotes people doing bad things. I'm not someone that usually would promote censorship, but something like hacked clients being shown off on YouTube just makes the problem worse, because it lets people know that it exists, it gets them interested, then they start doing it. If they don't know a hacked client exists in the first place, they're not going to try it, right? So I think that was a good move on them to get rid of Xturtle, because that was obviously very bad. And if they continue to do that with Hytale cheats, especially now that they've, like, locked the client and they made it explicitly clear that they do not want cheating, they could easily make the case in court. All it takes is one script kiddie getting sued and then, like, brought to court, and then they have to pay out a bunch of money, and then everybody's gonna stop because they do not want that. Also, of course, any websites or YouTube channels that not only promote cheating, but promote fake account giveaways, fake in-game cosmetic giveaways, codes, people like the Rocket League trading group that think that, you know, promote that they're this big group, but then you sign into Steam and give away your account information, things like that, like hosted in other, it's going to be tough, the legality of it, because they're hosted in places that are, like, you know, outside of the domain of, you know, legal action. Like, what if they're, like, in Russia or China or something? How are you supposed to defend against that? That's a tough one. I don't know. I honestly do not know how that's supposed to work. but maybe at the very least have a blacklist so that like on Hypixel's websites they would say explicitly these are bad websites, but that won't prevent it, so it's hard. Some other things that I like too about what Hypixel is doing is how in one of the more recent blog posts they were talking about server technologies, and they said that in order to be on the public server list you need to qualify in a few ways, and I think that's a good step because I bet you a lot of those ways involve being fair, not scamming people, being legit, and there's obviously a lot of Minecraft servers out there that dedicate themselves to being cracked, and they dedicate themselves to giving away accounts and promoting bad websites and things like that. So this is a good step that that Hypixel is promoting, that everybody be legit and have their own and be good if they're to be displayed on the public server list, which is another reason why I think server listing websites should die, even if they aren't going to die, because I predict if the game is, for example, paid and then somebody cracks the client and then, you know, the game becomes free for those people that buy that download the cracked client, that they'd be able to, you know, have a server listing site for cracked servers and then be able to play on the cracked servers and just be able to basically enjoy the game free. That crap needs to be stomped out. Anybody watching this video that's cracked Minecraft, why? I mean, I get it if you're like a kid and you don't have the money to buy the game, but you gotta admit it's still really, really scummy. Like, the developers put literally tens of thousands of hours, maybe even hundreds of thousands of hours into Minecraft, and you're just gonna, you know, get it free and do everything you can to get all the shiny features of a bought version of the game without paying anything. That's pretty disrespectful to the developers and anybody that promotes cracking games. I'm not gonna lie, I downloaded a torrented version of the single player back in alpha, but again, that's because I had no money. But the first chance I got to buy the game was beta 1.0, and that's when I bought it, and I officially owned it. And you know what? I own up to that. I used to be someone that cracked a lot of things back in the day. Movies, software, but as I got older I realized it was wrong and I righted my wrongs. I used to crack Sony Vegas Pro, but then I decided to buy it. Luckily, Humble Bundle was a thing at that time, so I was able to get a full version of Sony Vegas for 40 bucks when originally it was like 500. So that was pretty neat. I legally own that software now. Obviously, I can't unwatch the movies that I streamed online, but whatever. I didn't really crack a lot of other games, to be honest with you, because I'm the type of person that plays a few number of games, but I play each one a lot. Anyway, moving on. Fan websites need to be kept very clean, and they need to not go for dangerous ads. Even YouTube's not safe from dangerous ads. For example, there are ads on YouTube right now that promote scams that are centered around Clash of Clans gem generators. Literally, as I speak, there are YouTube ads that are promoting scams related to in-game currency. So that, first off, is really disappointing that made it through AdSense. But the other thing is that Hytale, again, needs to have a firm grasp on its community. And if it sees a website that is innocent, but also has like really scummy ads, like fake download buttons. For example, right, if you were to go and search Minecraft Get Spigot or something like that, and it's a website that's not officially endorsed, and it just has a bunch of downloads for different versions of software, for example, Craft Bucket or Spigot, or even mods, like 5 Minecraft, 7 Minecraft, or something like that. There's some stupid website that has downloads that promote mod versions that don't exist. They'd be promoting something like Tinker's Construct 1.14 when like the game 1.14 is not even out yet, and then you'd go to their website and there'd be fake download buttons that download malware, and it's like, no, bad website. First off, you're promoting crap that doesn't even exist, so if you download it, you're either going to download a virus, some installer, or some outdated version of the mod. And then on top of that, you're promoting ads that are gonna scam people in their own right. So it's so scummy. Neither of those things can happen. Even if a site is 100% innocent, but they put ads on their site and one of them just so happens to be a fake download button, that needs to be addressed. because there are gonna be people in the Hytale community that don't know any better, because that's just how people work. Everyone that plays this game isn't gonna know which download button's real and which one's not. Even though for me, someone that's been dealing with this crap for years knows that almost every ad, not every single ad, but most ads have like that little box in the corner that lets you know it's an ad. Sometimes that doesn't even happen. Sometimes the download button, the real one, is literally hidden, and the only way you could figure it out is by hovering your mouse over some white space and then looking in the bottom left and seeing the URL it goes to pop up. And sometimes ads are hidden that way too. It is extremely scummy. In summary, as annoying of a process as it is, I do think Hytale needs to crack down on scam websites. They might even need a team of people dedicated to keeping the internet clean. And as for things that are outside of their legal abilities, they need to maybe contact Google, get those sites censored, because the reality of Google is that you can, through SEO, search engine optimization, you can hide websites. Even if they're up and fully working and the only real way to get there is with like a direct URL, you just got to get them out of search results. You have to remove them from search results. So that's what I would recommend. That is something that is within their control, is to be in close ties with Google. And it's obvious that they're already close ties with YouTube because they managed to get external banned. So I think something like that would be a good idea. As always, with every game, online interactivity, just don't trust anybody with any personal information. But I do think that Hytale needs to come up with some ways to prevent things like this from happening. For example, instead of having like a verification code or something when you buy something in the store, maybe it just automatically gives it to you after you purchase it. So there's no code, there's nothing that could be, you know, spoofed by some person with a code generator, like a quote code generator. So maybe when you purchase something in the store, it automatically just goes straight to your account and there is no code. There is no verification system thing that like has some mid-step that makes people think they could spoof it. Just don't even give them the idea. Leave a like down below if you guys enjoyed this video, and I really do hope that scummy people like this go find another game to terrorize their community, because Hytale, it's gonna have, I mean, like it or not, there's gonna be a lot of kids that play this game. There's gonna be people like me that are in their 20s and they're just, you know, playing the game because they genuinely enjoy it and they think it's really neat how moddable it is. But there are going to be young kids, probably under the age of like 8, playing this game, and they are going to be extremely susceptible to, for example, Minecon cape scams, like something similar, or, you know, a code generator that gives them free, I don't know, credits. If Hytale goes with the system I recommended, the Twitch bit system, then, like, you know, they could generate bits, which would be unfortunate because, you know, it would scam people into thinking they can get bits free when they can't. So it's up to them how they fix this, but I do think that the best option, at least with removing scummy websites, is just through interaction with Google and just straight up telling them, hey, can you get them just out of search results? Kind of how movies do that with copyright. If you were to try to search like quote movie, full movie online, then it will usually say something along the lines of like 13 results have been removed because of copyright notice or something like that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope my insight in my many years of getting scammed and doing a little bit of unsavory practices myself, that we can figure out how to fix this situation before it even begins. Well, anyway, that's it. So, oh, of course, if you would like to join the Hytale conversation, then make sure to join my Discord, the ThirtyVirus botnet, linked in the description and in the pinned comment. We talk about all sorts of stuff, including Hytale, but also life. Well, anyway, that's it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.